Peppa Pig might be everyone's favorite cartoon, but even Peppa's world has some hilarious animation mistakes. Like in this scene, when Mandy Mouse is spinning around in her wheelchair, if we pause at the right frame, we can see that her face is missing. In the episode Musical Instruments, when Daddy Pig hands Peppa a drum, something looks a little off. There's no strap, no string, nothing at all to hold it up. And yet, somehow, when Peppa starts playing the drum, it is just floating in midair like it's being carried by invisible hands. And when George starts blowing the horn, something weird happens. Where did the TV and the goldfish go? Seems like they vanished into thin air. And finally, when Daddy Pig claps for Mummy Pig, his hands clip through his head. Now let's go to the episode Hiccups. When Peppa was picking up her spoon, her hands clipped right through Mummy Pig's cereal bowl. And in this scene, when Daddy Pig poured milk into the cereal, the level of milk on the jug didn't change a bit. Look at this bowl of cereal. It's not on the table, it's floating in the air. Also focus on this spoon on Peppa's hand, because just a frame later, it magically teleports onto the table. In the episode Rebecca Rabbit, we noticed a bunch of mistakes. In this frame, we can literally see Rebecca's eyes through Richard's ears. Richard's ears became translucent in this frame. Also, when Peppa is about to enter the room, look at the door here. It's open towards the tunnel, but when she enters the room, now the door is open towards the room. And when the kids are playing at Peppa's house, look at this dollhouse behind them. It's missing a wall on the front. But just a second later, without anyone even touching it, a wall appears. In episode School Bus Trip, right off the bat, we noticed a funny mistake. Right at the beginning, all the parents are dropping off their kids for the big day out, but something's off. If you look closely, you'll spot Mummy Cat standing there, without Candy Cat anywhere in sight. Did she forget to bring her? Or did the animators just forget Candy altogether? And in this scene, look at Susie's lunchbox. And remember the way the half-eaten apple is placed, because a few frames later, the apple magically flips. And that's not all. Just when Susie is closing her lunchbox, the apple disappears. And finally, after Peppa starts feeding the ducks, we can see she has only got a tiny piece of bread left. But literally in the very next frame, the scene zooms out. And now look at Peppa's bread. It has gone back to its original size. Is that some sort of infinite bread glitch? In the episode The Police, when Officer Panda accidentally bumps into a tree, a few apples tumble down. But here's the mistake. Just moments earlier, when we first saw that very same tree, there weren't any apples on it at all. So where did they come from? Either those apples appeared out of thin air, or the animators gave the tree a last-minute snack. In the episode Zoe Zebra the Postman's Daughter, when Mr. Zebra comes to collect the mail from the post box, look at this tree right here. It is not even connected to the ground. The tree is literally floating in the air. Later in the episode, we can see Susie Sheep entering Zoe's house for the birthday party. But the mistake is, when the party starts, she isn't seen anywhere. Moving on to the episode Pumpkin Party, right off the bat, when we get the view of the Pig family's house, the sky is purple, but when Daddy Pig is in the kitchen, the sky is blue. Within seconds, the sky changed colors. And when Peppa and her friends go to Susie's house, they are greeted by Mummy Sheep at the door. But when Susie comes outside, Mummy Sheep disappears. And finally, when Susie is talking with Madame Gazelle, look at the mirror here. And no, we're not talking about Madame Gazelle's missing shadow. We're talking about the color of the wall. The color of wall in the reflection is different to what it actually is. In the episode Trampolines, we're at Miss Rabbit's trampoline park. When Miss Rabbit is briefing them, if we look behind her, we can see an empty desk and a rack filled with shoes. After Miss Rabbit finishes her briefing and goes back to her desk, we can now notice there's a blue boot on top of her desk. But earlier, the desk was completely empty. And that's not all. Here, Susie's shoes are blue. But when she takes them off, they suddenly turn purple. And that's not all. This episode is filled with colorful mistakes. Look at George and Richard's boots here. They are red and blue. But when they are putting their boots on the desk, they are now green and purple. And finally, when Susie is bouncing on her trampoline, the padding on the trampoline is purple. However, when she points out that Daddy Pig is on a trampoline, the padding is blue. Next up, we've got Grandpa Pig's birthday. First, look at the party hat that Grandpa Pig grabs because its color actually changes the moment he puts it on. Then, at the table where Granny and Grandpa Pig are sitting, you can clearly see 4 napkins laid out. But when Peppa and George decide to wear 2 of them as party hats, suddenly there are none left. And it doesn't stop there. While the waiters are serving spaghetti, Mrs. Cat is shown sitting with Mrs. Dog, but just a few shots earlier, she was sitting with Mr. Cat. So, unless she's mastered teleportation, that's another mistake from the animators. Oh, and one last detail. Look at the flowers on Mummy Pig's dress because after Grandpa Pig says he's too old for a real party, take a look at Mummy Pig's dress again. The flowers on it actually changed design. Moving on, right at the start of the episode, Pumpkin Competition, Madame Gazelle is explaining the rules of the pumpkin contest, but keep your eyes on the background, specifically these 2 pumpkins, one sitting on top of the bookshelf and another one on the green cabinet to the left. But just a few frames later, when everyone holds up their pumpkin, they both vanish. And then, as if nothing happened, both pumpkins magically reappear. That's not the only disappearing act though. When Danny says Peppa isn't here, there's an empty red chair beside him. But in the very next shot, Rebecca suddenly appears sitting in that same red seat. And the red chair she was sitting in before? It mysteriously teleports next to Susie. And finally, when Pedro gets his prize, pay attention to the color of his chair. One moment it's orange, and the next, it turns light blue. Maybe his prize was a free chair makeover? The episode, Charity Shop, is a charity of mistakes. Notice Grandma Wolf's dress. It's purple at first, then a few moments later, it's teal. And that's not all. When the pig family decides what to give away, look at this computer in the background. As Peppa moves from left to right, it disappears. And in its place, an old chair appears. Later, when Mummy Pig shows a book to Daddy Pig, the computer comes back and the old chair shifts to the right. In the episode, The School Fete, there is a very quick animation mistake. See if you can spot it.
There you are, Peppa. Now you're a tiger.
If we slow down this scene, then we can see at the very last frame of this scene, the paintbrush magically floats onto the air. And also in the same episode, when Daddy Pig makes a dinosaur out of a balloon for George, we can notice there's no string attached to the balloon. But when George starts running with the balloon, a string magically appears. In the episode The Beach, the pig family goes to the beach for a fun day. When they arrive at the beach, Peppa starts taking out the toys from the basket. Notice that she takes out towels, buckets, spades, and a ball. But the mistake is, after Mummy Pig applies sunscreen to Peppa and George, if we look behind them, we can notice the bucket and the spades are now back in the basket. But earlier, we clearly saw Peppa taking out both of those items. In the episode, The Great Barrier Reef, Peppa and her family continue their Australian holiday. Right at the beginning of the episode, we can notice a barbecue grill near the front door. Later in the episode, everyone jumps aboard Mrs. Kangaroo's submarine for an amazing adventure to explore the Great Barrier Reef. But when they return back after exploring the sea, we can notice the barbecue grill isn't there anymore. Unless someone stole it while they were gone, it should be right there. Maybe Australia has their own version of Mr. Fox. In the episode Viking Day, when Grandpa Pig is looking at Miss Rabbit's stall through his binoculars, we can notice there are 3 slices of cake on the counter. But seconds later, the scene zooms onto the stall, and there are now only 2 slices. No one here is eating the cake, so where did it disappear? And that's not all. We noticed another error through Grandpa Pig's binoculars. If we zoom onto Granny Wolf, we can see her cup is blue colored. But when the scene zooms onto her, we can see the color of her cup is now red. In the episode Baby Alexander, the pig family is in the kitchen, waiting for baby Alexander to arrive. Behind Daddy Pig, there are some drawings on the board. For now, just focus on the house and the castle. Moments later, as Daddy Pig talks and the camera zooms in, the castle is still there, but the house drawing has vanished. Earlier, the house was right next to the castle. And that's all the animation mistakes we found in Peppa Pig. Did you spot any others? Drop them in the comments. And as always, we'll see you all in the next video.